Good Saturday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our market intel brief. Even though it's Saturday and the market's closed, it's always a good time to put out some intel. Was a little lax last week, mainly because busy making our No Fallen Heroes project, busy with potential investors, the producer, potential air show team that we're standing up. Man, just absolutely incredible stuff going on in the No Fallen Heroes project, where we're going to save not only veterans' lives, but as many lives as we can as we help Americans and, in fact, the world heal, right? And try and get rid of this illusion of separation, that we're separated from each other and from our source, divine truth, God, whatever you want to give the label that to something that you can't label. So actually a pretty damn good week. What is it, March 5th? Made about $7,000 this week. This is one of my personal accounts, trading the S&P 500, Target, some Mo, some Black Rifle Coffee. Still got SIL on there, which is my long-term psychedelic play. Back to where we are strategically. Take a look at this slope. Just kind of connect that dot, and that dot, man. That is pretty damn ugly. Not a good-looking chart. Well, it's only ugly if you're long. It's only ugly if you're bullish. It ain't ugly if you're an options trader. Matter of fact, if you're an options trader, you love this market. You love carnage in the markets because volatility premiums, options premiums go through the roof. This is a target-rich environment for options traders. We're having an absolute blast trading that. Hell, in our model portfolio over here, we're up about $25,000. I think this is the primary portfolio year to date, just trading the S&P 500 at another $4,200 for some volatility. Just absolutely enjoying this. Now, not enjoying what's going on in the world, right? I mean, it's just absolutely horrific what's going on in the world. I actually did my podcast yesterday on Friday, so make sure you keep an eye on that for when it drops. Max Afterburner episode 21. Why? Because this is interesting, because this came out. I did not read this before I did my podcast, but taking dictators literally and seriously. Putin told us for years what he'd do. We didn't listen. Well, some of you didn't listen. I did. Will we listen now to other threatening autocrats? Folks, I nailed this. Listen to my podcast, the Max Afterburner podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast, because I put this right through the bullseye. Why aren't we listening to our enemies when they tell us exactly what they're going to do? Right, 2007 speech, this guy mapped out exactly what he was going to do, right? The fall of the Soviet Union was the biggest, heartbreaking thing that ever happened in the last century, and I'm going to fix it. I'm paraphrasing, but that's more or less what the dude said. 2008, under Cocaine Bush, he invades Georgia. 2014, under Barack Hussein Obama, he invades Ukraine, Crimea. 4 years, for whatever reason, he took a break, and then under Joe Biden, he literally invades Ukraine. He said all this. I'm not a big Oliver Stone fan, to be honest with you, but I watched in 2017. You should go watch them today or tomorrow, man. Take a weekend, some couch time to watch the Putin interviews with Oliver Stone. You will come away with a different understanding of what is going on right here. You'll watch the Putin interviews and go, okay, well, he told us he was going to do all this, and now we're stunned? Why am I rambling about this? Because how about we listen to other regimes that are threatening world's democracies in other countries, like Iran. Iran, quote unquote, paraphrase. We're going to build a nuke, and when, not if we get a nuke, we're going to wipe Israel off the face of the planet. Oh, and as many Americans as we can too. Democrats, liberals. Oh, no, you're not. Are we that stupid? Our enemies literally tell us what they're going to do, and we don't believe them. Time to wake the fuck up and start listening to what these people are saying they're going to do and trying to either prevent it or get ready for it. It's absolutely horrible what's going on in Ukraine. I'm just thrilled that in the past couple weeks, expert virologists on the internet have become expert no-fly zone folks. I happen to know a guy who flew 44 combat sorties in a no-fly zone, so maybe one of us kind of knows what we're talking about. Obviously, folks, a no-fly zone is an act of war. We establish a no-fly zone over Ukraine. We shoot down a Russian fighter jet. It's World War III. Last time I checked, Vlad's like, yeah, you do that, we're going to be in a nuclear war. And I kind of believe the dude. Okay? So how about a reverse no-fly zone? How about we go Berlin airlift, man? If I was the president, and I doubt I could do a worse job than Mumbles McBiden with his Adderall-induced State of the Union last week. Reverse no-fly zone. You pick up the phone and you call Vlad and say, hey, man, you're laying siege to these cities in Ukraine. You're shelling civilians. You're committing war crimes. I am going to fly in life-saving food and supplies and medicine. I'm going to airdrop them into these cities. Unarmed cargo planes. You shoot at an unarmed cargo plane of the United States or NATO, now you're at war with us type of thing. And of course, in addition to just dropping medicine and food and water, we're dropping frickin' Stingers and Javelin missiles. That's how you do it, folks. Stop talking out of your ass like you know what flying in a no-fly zone entails or what the rules of engagement are. Go back to honoring Dr. Fauci. Where's Dr. Fauci? Haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Guy was on the news every day, 24/7, but mysteriously in front of the State of the Union, COVID disappeared. The science changed. The polls changed. We're not that stupid. Hey, message to the Ukrainian armed forces: do not engage in war crimes yourself. You're being very, very dangerously close to doing that. Parading enemy POWs, pilots, and using them for propaganda purposes is against the Geneva Convention. Do not lower yourself to the Russians by parading these dudes. It's wrong. We thought it was wrong when the North Vietnamese did it to our guys, but now the Ukrainians do it, and we're going to go, well, it's okay. I read this thread, and they're like, wow, they're criminals, or it's not a war, it's a military, whatever, folks. You can twist yourself into contortions. Do not lower yourself to your enemy. Be better. Most of these dudes don't even want to be here. Did you see they're coming dangerously close to committing a war crime themselves. The Ukrainians put a bunch of Russian POWs up in front of a press conference. They're like calling home to their moms, like crying. They didn't want to be here. They were lied to. They were doing maneuvers. I get it, man. You want to kind of use that for propaganda value? You can't. You keep engaging in this type of shit, and you're even with the Russians, in my opinion. Knock it off. Seems weird to say, but war does have rules. And just because Russia's breaking them doesn't mean you lower yourself to your enemy. Trust me. Speaking of the enemy, what the hell? They suck. Russia's Air Force? Man, I was the adversary officer in a fighter squadron. I went to Top Gun. I was an adversary instructor. I knew all of their tactics, the missile ranges, man, that was my job, was to know all of this stuff. You wouldn't believe what I have in my mind about this stuff. I am blown away. Now, Vlad could be doing a rope-a-dope. He hasn't even deployed the majority of his Air Force, this, that, and the other thing. Maybe starting to recognize that, this 24 to 72-hour thing that I thought was going to happen, Zelensky would flee and that people would welcome us with open arms, failed. But it's shocking to me. Okay? And I think it's going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better. What's this have to do with trading? Everything. Where's all the people who used to come to my full throttles and within a couple minutes go, you're talking about politics, I'm out of here. If you don't start showing trades. Before they'd be able to exit, I'd throw them out. Politics, look at this chart. It's all politics. The market does not move an inch without politics. Price of oil is political. Today, as I'm talking to you, we just gave the Russians $20 million for oil, while we're giving $350 million to Ukraine. The United States government is funding both sides of the war. How do you feel about your tax money at this point? It's going to the enemy and it's going to the people we're supporting? That's fucking great. Isn't that great when your tax money goes for stuff like that? Awful. Price of oil, politics. Interest rates, politics. War, politics. The market is entirely made up of politics. Speaking of all this stuff, when I'm in Aspen, taking my spring break, man. Once a year, I go away for a week, and I get my mind right up in the mountains. March 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's a Wednesday, right? A Wednesday. Bart's going to open up the doors to Tomcat charts. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/Tomcat, and you can register for Bart's brief. He's got the Tomcat charts. He's got the Zone 5 Master Charts database with FX. He's got a currency database with all these charts. Commodities, man, gold, copper. You should check out what's going on in commodities right now. Fixed income, equities. You can see with the S&P 500, he is an expert on this charting stuff, man, and where it's going. I'm not going to give you any of that stuff for free. You can come check it out for free, and then you can become a member. Go.topgunoptions.com/Tomcat. Register with Bart. He's a Top Gun graduate. He's a Tomcat guy. Don't hold that against him. Chartered market technician, commodity trading advisor. He's an instructor, CMT, and Barclays Hedge selected him as one of the top 5 FX traders in the world. Folks, why would you not check out what Bart is doing? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we are going lower. We are going much lower. Jerome Powell, again, limp-wristed last week in front of the House and Senate. I think we'll raise 20. I'm comfortable with 25 basis point interest rate increase in March. I'm not. I think you need a full point to shock interest rates, to shock everybody and go, wow, they are taking this inflation fight seriously. Here's a prediction. Joe Biden will eventually cave, which is shocking, to do the right thing. And even Nancy Scotch Pelosi last week, stop buying Russian oil. I agree. Boycott it. Not a word from the White House. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Peppermint Patty Psaki just doing the whole, no, we don't want to hurt, USA consumers. We're by forcing the Green New Deal down our throats by proving that oil sucks. That's great. Open the Keystone Pipeline, drilling on federal lands, and yes, fracking. Under Donald Trump, love or hate the guy, we were a net energy exporter. Now we're importing. Isn't that great? And guess who Mayor Pete said we might start importing oil from? Fucking Iran. The same people that shout death to America. Instead of getting oil from our own America, we're going to get it from our enemy. You can't make the stupidity up of these people in this administration. If you're a Top Gun Options member, or at least you listen to some of these free market intel briefs or sit reps, you knew all this stuff was coming. I told you 14, 15 months ago, I said Joe Biden's sophomore year will be a bear market and a recession. We haven't even started yet. The market hasn't even started going on. If you think this is pain, you haven't even seen pain yet. But if you don't know how to trade options, or if you're not in Tomcat charts with Bart, seeing where things are going next, you deserve everything bad that's going to happen to you. And I'm sorry to say that. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/Tomcat to register. And actually, I'm not sorry to say that. You have to fly and fight your own airplane. If you're having fun out there in this market, just raging around as a single, solo in your airplane, and you're printing money, God bless you. Matter of fact, shoot me an email. I'd love to have you on board as an instructor. If you're not, come check out what we're doing. Hell, our lifetime group is growing. This is our max afterburner. We got 150 members in here. The Hunters is over here. It's kind of our junior lifetime group, 97 members in here. Very, very active, especially with what's going on. Man, posting all of our trades, opening, closing, just an absolute blast. I put on a bear call spread yesterday, a day trade that closed for max profit. What was that, like $2,500, somewhere up here. One day trade. There you go. Thanks, Wiz. Gets the credit. And a couple target trades. 2 awesome trades that closed yesterday for max profit. S&P 500 and a Target trade. Sold it. What's Target doing? I think I have another one on. Target. I have another bear call spread out to Friday. Look at this pop last week on earnings. Boom. Pop. Sold into it. Hovered. I think it's going down this week, man. I think a lot of things are going down this week. Anyway, enough. I'm going to the Panthers game. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Namaste, and fights on.